confidential lawyer you work with that will advise you on which steps to take. Another aspect is if you attempt to diversify, move away from that. Try to build up another institution entirely, which the other generation can hang on to. That will be some way out of it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all so very much. I was deliberate when I was speaking to just talk around the evolution because I'm very passionate about this. If I got into it, I wouldn't have realized 2 or 3 hours that have passed. So I tried to avoid that. But the issues being thrown up are the kinds of issues that I dealt with many times in the entrepreneurship program that I helped involve, that I talked about. A couple of them. Very important one. How do you communicate with the founders of the business? How do you tell your parents that time is up? It's very difficult yet very easy. It's, of course, like Professor Jogu said, you don't want to become the prodigal because you can bring libation in the morning and start praying. These children that we have had these days. Yeah, but a clear example is if we establish a tradition of family, the leadership retreats, bring professionals, bring educators, whatever, and they share these ideas, they come from a third party. It's easier for them to digest, the motives are different, and you can have conversations around those issues afterwards. It's almost the same way in both tracks. I learned something not long ago. Personally, my daughter is sitting in this room, and I try to take it away, and now I have a tradition. It's not about the business, it's about everything. Every week, my children are all grown up now. Every week we try to meet, and yesterday was that day of the week, and just talk about things, whether it's business, whether it's the world. It provides an opportunity to have, in a relaxed way, conversation about those very serious issues. And shared values are developed, and sometimes it can get deep, as my daughter will tell you. The one before yesterday, at the point she had to come to me and say, look, you're not a professor in Lagos University, you're talking to your children. But you learn from them about how they see the world, they learn something from you, from their own experience, and I think this can be very helpful in developing shared values. I think the other really interesting point about the person who wanted his ideas to go to the 5th generation, and after 1 or 2 generations, people wanted to tweak with the ideas. A point that Professor Jogu mentioned, which is you can actually run your business from the grave if you walk through a structure that you've set up, I'm sure many of us saw the film, The Ultimate Gift. How many people have seen the film, The Ultimate Gift? My poor daughter is looking because I forced them to watch it so many times. But it's a remarkable film, and it should be free now, so if you Google it, you can. It's fantastic. About how this man changed his grandson, after his death, the things he required for this young man to do, and actually molded his character. And so, a very clever person can manage these things from the grave. There was a question about, what is really a family business with quoted company and all of that. What's the influence? Who controls? As a case study I used to teach 20-something or more years ago about Motorola. I thought it was a great example. Bob Galvin, who was leading Motorola towards the end of the 70s into the 80s, when American companies were being really overtaken by Japanese companies. And Bob had the structure of the company was a triumvirate. He was like executive chairman, as we say in Nigeria. There was a president. There was CEO, and they were called the triumvirate. All decision making took place there. The company was doing remarkably well by the usual indicators. But Galvin went to Japan and had a life-changing experience about how Japanese companies were organized. And it was clear to him that these fellows were going to leak any American company if American companies didn't begin to think change. And so he walks into a retreat of a company. They just made these extraordinary profits, and he looks at them and says, if we don't change, we will die. And everybody turns and says, oh, Bob has done his early morning brandy. You know what? The final analysis, what made the difference was, by the way, what we call Motorola, of course, used to be called Galvin Manufacturing before it became Motorola. And so Bob basically said, look, the name up there is my name. I have more commitment to where this company is going. In the end, he brought everybody on board, and the transformation literally saved Motorola, as indicated by the fact that Motorola was the first American company to win the Malcolm Bardage Award, which the incoming Reagan administration instituted to get American companies to be more up to speed in quality, and those things that made Japanese companies begin to beat them. So I think it's important to look at the power of that name in terms of the influence of those who are leading the company. The thing also about managing the powerful people. I say to people all the time, it's easy to manage your boss. What are his key results areas? What are his own bosses judging him by? And play to the strength of that person, see how they are being judged. Okay, people who have founded a business, who are their bosses? Probably God. So, what's the view of what view do they have of what God is asking of them? And if you play to that, instead of saying, this is what I want, and saying, look, this is what will enhance your legacy, it's easier for them to accept what you're saying than, oh, you see, we went to business school, and this is what they say in business school. They will tell you, I paid the money for you to go to that business school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We take a very good time for this. Please hand back to the first one.
Thank you again. I was told that a chairman in an event does not talk too much. But you only say a few words and leave the speakers to continue with the talk. But there are a few questions that we haven't really looked at. We asked a question about the corporate governance model for family businesses in Nigeria. And in my speech, I said that we need to think about it very well. Because the corporate governance model that we use in Nigeria is not really, research has shown that it's not really very, very suitable, and it hasn't really worked well. If you look at the banking industry, for example, we have so many issues of corporate governance failures. And what we use in Nigeria is what we call the Anglo-American model. That tells you all you need to do is look after the shareholders, and that's what you're supposed to do. And the shareholders are going to contribute money to you to enable you to run your business. But the reality in Nigeria is that what we have is concentrated ownership. So if you look at banks in Nigeria, you can clearly say who owns this bank. You know, I remember anytime I teach in Lagos Business School, they normally ask me about companies, and when they talk about some companies, they will say that Prof owns it. So I normally say just maybe want a director, but they say even when you read this paper, they say founder of Lagos Business School, that he owns Lagos Business School.